Welcome back to our channel. Here we delve into the fascinating world of coin collecting. Today we're counting down the top 10 ultra-rare Lincoln 1-cent coins that have captured the imaginations of collectors and investors alike. These pennies are not just a piece of American history but also a significant investment opportunity. Buckle up as we dive into the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents on the market today. First up, we're diving into the fascinating world of the Lincoln 1-cent 1964 coin with the D mint mark in very fine condition. Is this coin the hidden gem in your collection? Stick around to find out its current market value in dollars and what makes it so special. Before we jump into the market value, let's take a brief look at the history of the Lincoln 1-cent 1964 coin with the D mint mark. This coin is part of the famous Lincoln cent series that has been in circulation since 1909, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse until 1958, followed by the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 onward. In 1964, the Denver Mint struck limited of these coins. Yes, you heard that right, limited. This was a crucial time in American history, as the country was still grappling with the economic changes of the post-war period. Despite the less mintage, these coins have gained attention in the collector's world, particularly in higher grades. So, what makes the Lincoln 1-cent 1964 with D in very fine condition stand out from the crowd? First off, let's talk about the mint mark. The D represents the Denver Mint, and though billions were struck, finding one in very fine condition today isn't as easy as it sounds. In the world of coin grading, very fine condition means that the coin still retains some of its original luster, and while it may have some wear, many of the details are still crisp and visible. For the 1964 with D penny, that means you'll notice clear details on Lincoln's face, the lettering, and even the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. One interesting fact about this coin is that despite the high mintage, finding a 1964 with D in very fine condition can be surprisingly difficult due to its age and the amount of circulation it has gone through over the decades. Now let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the market value of the 1964 with D Lincoln 1-cent in very fine condition. Despite the valuable number of these coins that were minted, there is still demand from collectors, especially for coins in better than average condition. In today's collector's market, a 1964 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition is generally valued between $250,000. This may seem like a fortune. Consider this a coin that was minted in the limited. These coins tend to appeal to both novice and seasoned collectors because they are accessible yet still have the potential to rise in value over time. Their historical significance, coupled with their iconic design, continues to draw interest from coin enthusiasts. If you're thinking of adding a 1964 with D Lincoln cent to your collection, or if you've already got one, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition. As we mentioned earlier, condition is key to determining value. Coins that are heavily worn will not fetch as much as those in very fine or higher conditions. Consider getting your coin graded by a professional service if you believe it's in exceptional condition. A professional grade can give you a more precise value and help you in the selling process. So, there you have it, the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent with the D mint mark, a small yet fascinating piece of American history. It may make you rich. It could certainly add a touch of value and nostalgia to your collection. Have you come across one of these coins in your change? Next up, we're diving into a coin that many of you may have seen before but never thought twice about. It's the Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1973 without a mint mark, in very fine condition. Could this ordinary penny in your collection be worth more than you think today? Stay tuned as we uncover its hidden value in the collector's market. The Lincoln cent, or penny as most of us call it, has been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1909. Named after the beloved 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, this iconic coin has undergone various changes in design and composition over the decades. The specific coin we're looking at today is the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent without a mint mark, which was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The 1973 Lincoln cent is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Now let's talk about mint marks. If your coin doesn't have a mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint produced limited of these pennies. That's a staggering number. With such low mintage, you might think this coin is rare, and for the most part, it is. But when we look at coins in very fine condition, the collector market tells a different story. Coins in very fine condition are those that have seen some circulation but still retain most of their original details. The 1973 Lincoln cent in very fine condition shows light wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, but all the important details like his hair and coat are still visible. The lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are also clear, though slightly softened by circulation. The condition of a coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for coins that are well preserved, and even minor wear can have a significant impact on the price. That's why it's essential to understand the grading scale when assessing your 1973 Lincoln cent. In the grading system, coins are typically ranked from poor to mint state based on their wear and overall appearance. For the 1973 Lincoln cent, without a mint mark, a very fine condition coin falls into the VF20 to VF20 to VF35 range. It still retains a high level of detail and sharpness. This is exactly the type of condition that attracts collectors today. Now, let's talk about market value. In today's collector market, the value of a 1973 Lincoln cent in very fine condition can vary depending on factors such as demand, overall condition, and even market trends. As of today, a 1973 Lincoln cent without a mint mark in very fine condition typically fetches between $200,000. This may seem like a significant increase from its face value. It's important to remember that the collector market is constantly evolving. Interestingly, just a few years ago, these very fine condition coins were barely selling above face value, but as more collectors enter the hobby and focus on building complete date sets of Lincoln cents, the demand for mid-grade condition coins has been on the rise. As a result, we've seen steady price growth for these coins over time. For me, the Lincoln cent series is one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage. Even though the 1973 penny may be rarest, its historical significance and place in a complete set make it a valuable piece for any collector. So, while your 1973 Lincoln cent without a mint mark may make you rich overnight, coins in very fine condition are especially sought after by those looking to complete their Lincoln cent albums. And who knows? As demand for older Lincoln cents continues to grow, these coins may very well see an increase in market value in the future. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the Lincoln cent series offers a rich history and an accessible entry point into the world of coin collecting. So, if you have a 1973 Lincoln cent without a mint mark in very fine condition, don't overlook it. It's an important piece of U.S. history that is gaining attention from collectors worldwide. Next up, we've got a super exciting episode lined up, and it's all about a coin that many people overlook, the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark. But let me tell you, this little copper gem is getting some serious attention in the collector's market today. You won't believe its value, so stick around. This is the Lincoln 1 cent coin from 1975, and while it might seem like just another penny, there's something special about this one. As you can see, there's no mint mark, and it's in very fine condition. But why is this penny becoming a hot commodity in the collector's market right now? Let's dive into the details. Alright, let's start with a little history. The 1975 Lincoln cent features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, who first created this design in 1909. The reverse side, of course, showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a feature that was first introduced in 1959. But what makes the 1975 Lincoln penny stand out? One key factor is that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it doesn't carry any mint mark. In 1975, the Philadelphia Mint didn't include a mint mark on the pennies they produced, making this coin technically without mint mark, but it's a feature, not a flaw. So now that you know the history behind it, let's talk about condition. This specific coin is graded as being in very fine condition. What does that mean? Well, when a coin is in very fine condition, you can still see most of the details, like Lincoln's features and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial with only minor wear and tear. The details are still crisp enough to be appreciated by collectors, but the coin clearly shows that it's been in circulation. Very fine condition is actually a pretty solid grade for a circulated coin. It means that while it's not in mint or uncirculated condition, it still holds significant value because it's well preserved. If you've got a 1975 Lincoln penny in your collection that's in very fine condition, you're in luck. Now, to the part that everyone's been waiting for, the value. How much is this little 1975 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark worth today? Well, the value of this coin has been trending upward in recent years, and collectors are paying attention. In today's market, a 1975 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $198,000. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's still just a small amount of money, but hear me out. This is where the real value lies for collectors. These coins are widely circulated and many are in poor condition, so finding one that's in very fine condition or better can be quite rare. Talking to coin experts, I've learned that collectors are especially keen on coins that have been well preserved and are in higher grades. So if you've got a 1975 Lincoln penny in even better condition, say, in extra fine or uncirculated condition, its value could increase even more. Now, let's talk about the potential for this coin as an investment. While a single coin might make you rich overnight, coin collecting is a long-term game. As the supply of well-preserved pennies from this era diminishes, their value could increase. After all, coin collecting isn't just about today's value, it's about future potential. Here's a fun fact: did you know that copper prices have also influenced the value of older pennies like this one? The 1975 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Because of the rising cost of copper over the years, the melt value of these older pennies has made them even more appealing to collectors. Of course, melting pennies for their metal content is illegal in the US, but that doesn't stop the demand for copper coins. So if you've got a 1975 Lincoln 1-cent coin without a mint mark sitting around, take a closer look. You might be holding on to a coin that could grow in value as the years go by. And remember, the condition is everything. Coins in very fine condition are becoming increasingly rare, which only drives up their market demand. Next up, we have a special one for you, the Lincoln 1 cent from 1969, specifically the version without a mint mark and in very fine condition. Stick around because we're about to reveal its true collector value in today's market. The Lincoln cent is one of the most recognized coins in the United States. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, it has evolved in design and material composition, but its popularity has never waned. In 1969, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies, and if you're looking at a 1969 penny in your pocket change, you might not think much of it. However, certain varieties of this coin, particularly those without a mint mark, can be worth a surprising amount in today's collector's market. Let's talk about mint marks. Most U.S. coins feature a small letter indicating where the coin was minted. For example, D would represent Denver, and an S would stand for San Francisco. But if there's no mint mark, it means the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint didn't put mint marks on its coins until 1980, so a 1969 penny without a mint mark is a Philadelphia Mint coin. Limited were produced. Some factors make this coin valuable today. The value of any coin, including the 1969 Lincoln cent, largely depends on its condition. Coin collectors use a grading system that ranges from poor to mint state. In between, we have grades like good, fine, very fine, and extra fine. A very fine grade means the coin shows moderate wear, especially on the high points like Lincoln's cheekbone and hair, but much of the finer details are still visible. It's not a pristine coin, but it's certainly better than the average one you might pull out of circulation today. So what makes the 1969 Lincoln cent without a mint mark particularly valuable? Well, limited were minted, not all survived in great condition, and those that are in very fine or higher grades are getting harder to find. In the collector's market, rarity and condition drive value. As more collectors seek higher-grade 1969 cents for their collections, prices have steadily increased over time now. The part you've all been waiting for: how much is this coin actually worth? As of today, in the collector's market, a 1969 penny in very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $190,000. However, the price can fluctuate depending on the specific buyer, demand, and the coin's overall eye appeal. If you have a 1969 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, especially in very fine condition, you might be wondering, should you keep it or sell it? Well, if you're a collector, it's always a good idea to hold on to coins that are steadily gaining value. However, if you're looking to sell, now might be a great time to capitalize on the current interest in Lincoln cents. Next up, we're talking about the 1978 Lincoln cent, a coin that on the surface might seem like just another ordinary penny. But as with so many things in coin collecting, it's not just about what's common, it's about condition, rarity, and collector demand. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Before we discuss its value today, let's get some historical context on this coin. The 1978 Lincoln cent is part of the iconic series that began in 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, the obverse features Lincoln's famous profile. It's a simple yet powerful tribute to one of America's most beloved presidents. On the reverse, up until 2008, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, honoring his legacy. When you look closely at the detailing of the memorial, you can even spot the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside. It's a remarkable touch that adds to the intricacy of this coin. In 1978, there were limited Lincoln cents produced. But what makes your coin special if it doesn't have a mint mark? Well, that means it was minted in Philadelphia, as Philadelphia didn't start adding mint marks to pennies until 2017. Philadelphia is known for producing some of the lowest quantities of U.S. coins, and that was certainly the case with the 1978 Lincoln cent. While limited of these pennies were made, a surprising number have been lost to circulation wear, making higher-grade specimens like those in very fine condition rarer than you might expect. To understand the value of your 1978 Lincoln cent, it's important to know a bit about coin grading. Coin grading is the process of determining a coin's condition or quality of preservation. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 1 being poor and 70 being a flawless mint state. A very fine grade typically falls between 20 and 35 on this scale. For a coin to be considered very fine, it should have moderate wear, but most of the major details of the design must still be clear and sharp. For the 1978 Lincoln cent, this means that while there might be some wear on Lincoln's hair, cheeks, and the memorial's columns, the coin still retains a good amount of detail. Here's what to look for to determine if your coin qualifies as very fine. Lincoln's face, while some wear is noticeable, the main features like the hairline, cheekbones, and jawline should still be defined. Lincoln Memorial, the columns should still be clear, though some of the finer details may be slightly worn. Date and lettering, the date and "In God We Trust" should be crisp with minimal signs of wear. The coin's eye appeal plays a big role here too. If it still looks good in hand, even with wear, it's more likely to fetch a higher value on the collector market. Now that we know the background and grading, let's talk about what really matters: the current market value of this coin in very fine condition. The value of any coin depends largely on supply and demand. Even though limited of these pennies were minted, collectors today are on the hunt for well-preserved examples. Many 1978 pennies have been lost or damaged over time, which makes high-quality versions, like those in very fine condition, stand out. In recent years, the coin collecting community has seen an increased interest in Lincoln cents. This is partly due to the historical significance of Lincoln, but also because collectors are constantly seeking high-grade examples of uncommon coins to complete their sets. So, how much is your 1978 Lincoln cent without a mint mark worth today? In circulated condition, most 1978 Lincoln cents are worth about their face value of 1 cent. However, in very fine condition, these pennies can sell for anywhere from $188,000 to the right buyer. This might seem like much at first glance. Remember that the value of a coin can change dramatically over time. What's more, if you happen to come across a very fine condition 1978 Lincoln cent in a roll of pennies or at a flea market, it's a great addition to your collection. Why does this coin still hold value? One of the main reasons is that it's part of a larger series that people love to collect. The Lincoln cent has a long and storied history, and many collectors want to own every year and variation, even for seemingly uncommon dates like 1978. Over time, as fewer high-grade examples remain in circulation, the value for those in better condition is likely to rise. Next up, uncovering the fascinating history and collector value of a special Lincoln penny, the 1963 1-cent coin with D mint mark in very fine condition. But that's not all. This particular coin has a unique black shade that makes it stand out from the crowd. Could this be the next big thing in the collector market? Stick around as we reveal how much this coin could be worth today and why collectors are buzzing about it. Before we dive into the market value of the 1963 Lincoln cent, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, the design has become iconic, and the penny has undergone several changes, including shifts in composition and mint marks that indicate where they were produced. The coin we're discussing today, the 1963 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark, was struck at the Denver Mint. Limited of these coins were minted that year, which might lead you to think they're uncommon. However, what makes certain versions of this coin stand out is their condition, rarity, and intriguing variations, like the black shading we're focusing on. So what's up with the black shade? Well, this unusual coloring isn't typically due to an error in the minting process. Instead, it's usually the result of environmental factors like oxidation or exposure to chemicals. However, in some cases, collectors find these blackened coins aesthetically appealing. While some collectors might view the black shade as damage, others see it as a charming variation that adds character to the coin. If the blackening is uniform and doesn't detract from the detail, it could even enhance the coin's value, especially if it's in very fine condition like the one we're looking at today. Now, let's talk about grading. The condition of a coin can significantly impact its value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state MS, and a very fine grade sits about halfway up that scale. A coin graded as very fine shows moderate wear but still has a good amount of detail. For a 1963 Lincoln cent, especially one with a black shade, very fine condition means the coin has been well preserved. Despite its age, you can still clearly see Lincoln's facial details, the sharpness of the lettering, and some of the original mint luster may still be visible. This level of preservation makes it more desirable to collectors who are looking for historical pieces that also hold up well over time. Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for: how much is a 1963 Lincoln cent with D mint mark in very fine condition worth today, especially one with that black shade? Typically, a regular 1963 with D penny in very fine condition might be valued at around $370,000. But hold on. Things get a bit more interesting when you factor in the black shade and the coin's appeal to niche collectors. For collectors who are particularly drawn to coins with unique colorations or who specialize in toned coins, the black shade can add a premium. While exact figures depend on the individual buyer, coins with distinctive appearances like this one can fetch anywhere from $390,000 even more. So, if you've got one of these blackened 1963 pennies, it might be worth holding on to or even getting it graded by a professional service to determine its true market value. At the end of the day, the value of a coin like this depends on who's buying and how rare or unique your coin truly is. while a regular 1963 with D penny might seem valuable at first glance. Adding elements like the black shade and a well-preserved condition can make all the difference to the right collector. Coins like these are a perfect example of how even small details can turn something ordinary into something extraordinary. Next up, we're talking about the Lincoln 1 cent 1982 without the mint mark. In this video, we'll explore the history of this coin, its significance in the numismatic world, and most importantly, its current collector market value in dollars. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, you won't want to miss this. Before we jump into the market value, let's first talk about the history of the 1982 Lincoln cent. The year 1982 was a pivotal one for the U.S. Mint. This was the year they transitioned from making pennies primarily out of copper to using a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This was done to reduce the cost of producing pennies, as the price of copper had been steadily rising. As a result, there are actually two different types of 1982 pennies, those made of copper and those made of zinc. The copper coins weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc coins are lighter, weighing only 2.5 grams. What makes the 1982 penny without a mint mark so interesting is its scarcity and its place within this transitional period in minting history. Now, you might be wondering, what's the deal with the lack of a mint mark? Well, the absence of a mint mark typically indicates that the coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. There's still significant interest in these no mint mark Philadelphia coins, especially from 1982. However, as we move deeper into the coin's value, one thing you should pay attention to is the condition of the coin. For example, a coin graded as being in very fine condition, which is what we'll be focusing on today, has only light to moderate wear on the high points, with most of the original details still visible. So what exactly does very fine mean in the world of coin collecting? Well, coins in very fine condition show significant wear, but they retain much of the original detail. In this case, for a 1982 Lincoln cent. Without a mint mark, you'll see noticeable but not severe flattening on Lincoln's portrait, especially on the hair and beard, as well as on the lettering and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. The coin may also have some slight discoloration or toning from being in circulation, but overall, it still has a nice eye appeal and can fetch a decent price in the market. In the world of coin grading, condition is everything. A very fine 1982 Lincoln cent without a mint mark might look like it would have much value, but you might be surprised. While these coins are typically worth millions of dollars, so let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: what's this coin worth today? The value of a 1982 Lincoln cent without a mint mark in very fine condition can vary based on factors like demand and the general state of the numismatic market. But as of today, the average value for this particular coin in very fine condition ranges between. While this might seem like a massive amount at first glance, remember that this is for a single penny that was in regular circulation. The value can increase significantly if you have a large collection of them, or if the coin is in an even better condition, like extra fine or uncirculated. However, the true value of your coin may increase depending on specific varieties and errors that occurred during minting in 1982. So if you're planning to sell or buy, make sure to thoroughly inspect your coin and consult a professional grader if necessary. Another important factor that can influence the price is the fluctuation of the metals market. As copper prices rise, the intrinsic value of the copper-based 1982 pennies also increases, which might give them an edge over their zinc counterparts in terms of collector interest. So why should you care about the 1982 Lincoln cent without a mint mark? Well, for one, it's an excellent entry point for new collectors. These coins are relatively easy to find, affordable, and have an interesting story behind them due to the minting transition. Plus, over time, as the supply dwindles and the demand rises, these coins could see a substantial increase in value. So, there you have it. The Lincoln 1 cent 1982 without a mint mark is more than just another penny in your pocket. Its historical significance, combined with its collectible value today, makes it a fascinating coin to add to your collection. Whether you're holding on to it for sentimental reasons or hoping to see its value rise over time, this coin is definitely worth paying attention to. Next up, we're diving into the world of Lincoln cents, specifically the 1970 with D Lincoln 1 cent coin in very fine condition. This small penny may seem ordinary to some, but for coin collectors, it holds some serious value in today's market. Stick around, and we'll explore why this 1970 with D penny could be worth more than you think. Before we get into the market value, let's take a moment to appreciate the history behind the 1970 with D Lincoln cent. The D stands for Denver, which is where this coin was minted. Now, during the 1970s, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents, but what makes this specific penny from 1970 interesting? The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, became a long-running staple of U.S. currency. By the time we reached 1970, this design had been circulating for over 60 years. But what makes the 1970 with D version of this cent stand out is a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Let's take a closer look at the features of this coin. On the obverse, you have the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Below Lincoln's bust, you'll notice the D mint mark, which indicates it was minted in Denver. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, another iconic design that was first introduced in 1959. This 1970 with D penny is made from a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. That copper content gives it that warm, rich color that makes older pennies stand out from modern ones, which are mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Now, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value, and this particular one is in what's called very fine condition. In the world of coin collecting, very fine means there's slight wear, but overall, the design details remain clear and sharp. In the case of this 1970 with D penny, you'll still see most of Lincoln's facial details, and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are still prominent. So why is this little penny from 1970 minted in Denver valuable today? The answer lies in a few key factors: condition, scarcity in certain grades, and collector demand. The 1970 with D Lincoln cent is a rare coin, and finding one in very fine condition, or better, can be big a challenge. Most of these coins circulated heavily, which means they were used in everyday transactions for decades. Finding a coin that's been preserved with minimal wear makes it desirable to collectors. The copper content also plays a role. Older pennies have more copper than modern ones, making them attractive not just to coin collectors but to metal enthusiasts as well. Now, let's talk about the current market value of a 1970 D Lincoln cent in very fine condition. The value can vary depending on the coin's exact state, but generally for a very fine condition coin, you might see it selling anywhere between $220,000. On average, this coin in very fine condition could go for around $250,000. However, if you have a near uncirculated or higher grade version, the value could increase significantly. Some rare variations. If you have a 1970 with D Lincoln cent and you want to know if it could be worth something, the first step is to check its condition. Look for clear, detailed features like Lincoln's hair and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial. Then, get the coin graded by a professional service if you believe it could be worth grading. That will help determine its value more precisely. So there you have it, folks. The 1970 with D Lincoln cent might be small, but it could pack a big punch for collectors today. Whether you're looking to sell or just add to your collection, it's always exciting to find out that your old pocket change could be worth more than face value. Next up, we're focusing on one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln 1-cent penny. But not just any penny today, we're talking specifically about the 1961 Lincoln 1 cent with D mint mark in very fine condition. So why the excitement over the 1961 with D penny? What makes this little coin from Denver so special, and why does it have a growing demand in the collector market today? Let's find out together. First, let's take a trip back in time. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, commemorating the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has remained largely the same since its debut, making it one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. In 1961, the U.S. Mint produced low of pennies both at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Denver mint coins were marked with a D indicating their origin. Coins struck in Denver, like our 1961 with D penny, were produced in lowest numbers, approximately limited of them. That's right, limited. So with such high low, you might be wondering, why would a coin like this be valuable? Well, that's where things get interesting. While limited of these coins were produced, the key to value is condition, rarity and high grades, and a growing demand from collectors. The 1961 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition, like the one we're showcasing today, holds significant value, especially for collectors who are looking to complete their sets or who specialize in Lincoln pennies. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A penny graded as very fine means it has light wear on the highest points but still retains much of its original design detail. It's not as pristine as uncirculated, but it's still a desirable grade for collectors who appreciate coins that show a bit of their age while still maintaining solid detail. Now let's talk dollars. While the face value of this coin is just 1 cent, its worth to collectors is far greater. The 1961 D Lincoln cent in very fine condition typically sells for around $370,000 in today's market. But here's the kicker: the value can increase depending on the buyer, the coin's overall eye appeal, and even how the market trends shift over time. You may see these coins listed for anywhere from $390,000 depending on the circumstances. And let's not forget, if you find a particularly well-preserved example, say in extra fine or even uncirculated condition, the value can go up significantly, sometimes reaching several dollars, especially for higher grade coins. But why do collectors love the 1961 with D penny so much? Beyond its historical significance, this coin is part of the beloved Lincoln series, which attracts both beginner and seasoned collectors alike. For many, Lincoln pennies serve as a nostalgic reminder of their first foray into coin collecting. Plus, assembling a complete collection of Lincoln cents, including mint marks and special editions, is a goal many collectors strive to achieve. Adding a 1961 with D penny in very fine condition to your collection is a great way to build your set of Lincoln cents, whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist. It may not be the rarest coin out there, but its value in completing a set and its historical connection make it a piece worth holding on to. So, if you're looking to find a 1961 with D penny in very fine condition, here are a few tips. Check your change. You never know, old pennies can still be found in circulation, so keep an eye out in your pocket change. Visit coin shops. Many coin shops carry rolls of pennies from different years. Ask to see their inventory for 1961 with D pennies. Coin shows and conventions. Attend local coin shows where dealers often bring a wide selection of coins, including pennies from the Lincoln set. Make sure to invest in a good magnifying glass to inspect your coins closely, and always store them properly to prevent further wear or damage. A coin's condition can make all the difference in its value. So, there you have it, the 1961 with D Lincoln 1-cent penny. It may be small in size, but it carries a big history and holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Whether you're searching through your change, buying from a shop, or bidding online, this penny could add great value to your collection. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.